Thank you. We'll call the March 4, 2024 meeting of Greenwood Board of Public Works and Safety to order at 5:30 p.m. Roll call, please, Amanda.
Mr. Rutherford.
Here.
Mr. Hoover.
Here.
Mr. Coleman.
Here.
Thank you.
Minutes of our last regular session, February 21, have been distributed to members of the board. Any corrections, additions, or deletions from staff? Hearing none, is there a motion for approval of the minutes?
So moved. Second.
For the discussion, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Ms. Best. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So tonight I'm coming before you with respect to our workers' compensation contract with the JWF Specialty. We changed to them a few years ago to take over our self-funded workers' compensation administration, and we are up for renewal. The contract renewal would be for another 3-year term. And I know the legal department did have some modifications that they were wanting to do to the contract. So this would be pending the law department's review. And what they're looking for is they're going to keep a flat rate of $11,000 that we currently have. And then the next two, it would go to $12,000 for each year.
So 12,000 in year 2 and year
And 3, yes, sir.
Questions for Lisa? So if you do a motion, if you approve it, it would be subject to legal department's review and approval.
I will move for approval, subject to the rule of law. Second.
For the discussion, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next thing I have would be a job description for the community development services for their intern. They do have it. It is a position that they have had in the salary ordinance. This is just amending the job description and also putting in the job description the different areas that they could choose from for when they do apply for the internship. So to better find out where their interest is for the internship.
Is this a year-long internship? Or is
It could be a smaller amount of time. It just depends. Like some of the students will come in as an intern and they will do like an immersive term type of an internship or a summer internship or spring internship. So it's just depending upon what their requirement is for.
Okay. Questions for Lisa? I need a motion for approval of the revised job description.
I move that we approve the request. Second.
For the discussion, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks, Lisa. Mr. Jones.
For the record, Christopher Jones, Director of Stormwater Management. What we want to do, we want to update our stormwater technical manual to reflect the changes in the construction stormwater general permit. So basically we have updates of technical things such as removing Rule 13 and Rule 5 and replacing the construction stormwater general permit. A couple other updates from Simon City and the census data. All this information has been provided to the engineering department for review, and I think everything meets their satisfaction. So I recommend acceptance and approval of the updates for the stormwater technical manual.
This board lacks the authority to make that change. So what you'll need to do is grant the legal department authority to draft an ordinance for the council to make the changes.
Anybody want to do what Mr. Hudson just indicated?
So moved. Second.
For the discussion, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thanks, Chris. Chief. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, board. Deacon Washoe, Fire Chief. Here tonight to request approval of contract for Station 92 and Station 94 to replace garage doors.
Big garage doors.
They are, and they're very difficult to match. So this is going to require moving a couple of them back to the front to match up the front, so it all matches from the street view.
Chief on this.
I move for approval. Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you for it.
Thanks, Chief. Next, we'll talk about Scottsdale Estates, Section 4. Mr. Lewandowski, are you online with us?
Good afternoon. My name is Brian Gradison. I'm here in lieu of Jonas Lewandowski, representing Gradison Land Development. And here we are seeking approval on the acceptance of a performance guarantee, as well as acceptance and execution of a sanitary inspection and testing agreement down in Scottsdale Estates, Section 4.
Mark, we have Paul's Peony's March 4th memo to us. Looks like a an unconditional. That's correct. I'll move to accept the performance guarantee for erosion control, accept and execute the general and sanitary sewer inspection and testing agreements, and ratify the acceptance of the 50% upfront fee for Scottsdale Estates Section 4.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you.
3-member board to that judgment.
Sean Kofer, Graham Road Sanitary Sewer Extension. Sean, are you with us?
Derek Brown with Canal Properties is here in lieu of Sean, and we'll be talking about the Graham Road Sanitary Sewer Extension and the Project Brutus maintenance bond releases.
Again, unconditional approval recommended by
Yes, sir.
your office.
I'll move for approval. Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. You want to do the next for the Greenwood Park at 65 South as well?
Yes.
Okay. What are we doing here?
Again, request the release of maintenance guarantees.
Again, we're good on this, Mark?
Yes, sir.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thanks very much. Have a good evening.
All right. Thank you.
We're going to talk to Todd Bartow of Twin Peaks Restaurant. Todd, are you with us? Amanda, can you tell if anybody?
No.
And Jeff had raised the question earlier that I thought we had a drawdown on this. That's something.
Didn't we take action on this a couple of meetings ago?
Yes, we did, and they corrected that issue, so we had to draw down the funds at all.
So we have a motion from the recommended motion from Paul Peony. Proving that subject to receipt of the original maintenance guarantee for sidewalks and review approval by the legal and engineering division. That's still correct?
Yes,
Mark?
that's correct, yeah, completion of the private dirt work storage control to accept the sidewalks, and to accept the maintenance guarantee for the sidewalks along County Line Road.
We approve subject to those conditions.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Now, Brock Avery, talking about Sage Briar at Del Webb.
Yes, thank you.
Hello,
Hi, how are you?
good. What are we doing?
I'm representing Harvey Construction and our client Pulte Homes for the proposed closure of Combs Road for a sanitary sewer extension that is in the approved plans for Sage Briar Section 1.
We have the route in front of us. Mark, have you had a chance to look through this?
Yes, we've looked at it. I think it's a pretty straightforward request. Currently, there's not a ton of development on Combs Road, so I don't know how many people it would impact. We did a similar closure north on Combs Road last summer, just south of County Line Road for the Denton Floyd Apartments. Seemed to work out fairly well. Their detour signs seem to be signed appropriately. So yeah, our recommendation would be approval on this with continuing to work with the engineering department on detour routes and signage. I don't know, Mr. Avery, did you mention how many days you thought it would take to complete this work?
In the request, I put 1 week. I don't anticipate it taking 1 week, but if this is acceptable, we're coming from the west off of the Graham Road area, moving east, and so it's ahead of time, kind of hard for us to determine exactly when we would be there. So I don't know how flexible the date would be if we have inclement weather or some delays. I think that's a pretty good estimate, but it's hard to pinpoint an exact date. So that's why I asked for a little more time, and I can work with Paul or whoever's necessary on any more details if that would help or answer any more questions.
Yeah, I don't know we need an exact start or end date. We know that it'll be less than 7 days. I think
Yes.
comfortable with that if the board is, and as always, I'd recommend liquidated damages, so we have something to hold them to if they don't reopen in that time period.
What's your dollar amount per day?
$500 a day would probably be sufficient.
That sounds fair.
Other questions or issues? Mr. Dawson, any concerns from administration? Okay.
I would have one other comment, is this sanitary sewer main extension will extend further east and will eventually cross 5 Points Road. There'll be some roadway improvements to 5 Points Road as well too. So you may
Correct.
request again in the future.
Yes, we have various crossings that this was a timing issue to get this one in, but we do anticipate submitting for the others. And I have requested traffic control plans through our engineer to make that submittal, which will happen soon.
And of course, you'll deal with the city, Mark's office, all the normal public safety signage.
Signage and public notification and all that sort of stuff for we.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's been a while since we've done one of these in Greenwood. As far as the notifications, I can't recall if we are responsible for some or if you make the notifications, but I can cover those details with Paul, or we can talk about them now if you'd like.
Paul will be able to walk you through it, but you'd be responsible for the notification.
Great. Okay. I appreciate it.
And you'll notify the city when you start, and if the proposal is for a 7-day completion period, and then $500 per day after that is liquidated damages. We'll make that motion.
Second. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Further discussion?
He's second. Take a pick.
Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much for your time.
Is there anyone from the audience wish to address us, either here in the room or online? Move on to Mr. Thompson.
Start with, Amanda got a text from Shauna after additional research. She decided that you do have the authority to pass to approve the stormwater technical matter. So would you revisit that and move to approve it?
Yes, that is then for
Item 4.
is there a motion to make that approval motion?
So moved. Second.
Further discussion?
Chris, can we get a list of those that forwarded to us at some point? Okay, thanks.
Okay, so we're going to replace this pending motion with our prior action on this. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, thank you.
Next up, I have a sidewalk repair contract with McGath Concrete. This was contemplated and funded by a bond that was issued 2 years ago. The amount is $43,853.60.
Questions for Sam on this? Motion for approval as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Next up is a temporary construction easement over a property owned by the Mitchells, and this is necessary to remediate a sewer problem we have at 250 Greenwood Street.
This is for $1,000, correct?
$1,000 is what we're paying them.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Next up is a CDBG agreement, and this was sent to us by our grant administrator. We've done the same agreement in the past with Gateway Services, I'm sorry.
That's the sort of a walk-up. Questions for, this is, while we've obviously jumped great Gateway Services we've dealt with, that this is the first time we've had a grant.
Correct.
For $12,500.
Yes.
I move we approve the request.
Second that. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Excellent. Let's go on to you, Mr. St. John.
Yeah, the first item I have for you are administrative settlements along our Cutsinger Road project, parcels 8, 11, and 20. We've discussed administrative settlements in the past. Again, we think the homeowners, property owners come to us, made additional requests above what the property appraised for. We reviewed it. We found it was agreeable, particularly agreeable in lieu of condemnation, and so we recommend approval of these. There's 3 parcels. Parcels 8 owned by Charles Baxter and Megan Kitchen. The administrative settlement would be $7,350, which would bring the total amount to $42,000 even. The second one is parcel 11, owned by Jeffrey E. Heffley and his wife. The administrative settlement is $6,500, which would bring the total amount to $34,000. And then the final one is owned by Kevin Allen Collins. The administrative settlement is $7,284, which would bring the total payment to $56,784 even.
Mark, are there other ones out there still lingering? Or?
We're probably 50 to 60% secured on parcels along Cutsinger. There was over 20 parcels we had to secure property from for this project. We have these 3, which will bring that number up even higher. There's another couple that we have active negotiations on that we feel good about, and a couple we're still working through.
Is this pretty typical or just seem high to you?
It's typical. I mean, we obtained appraisals, and there's variations in appraisals, and there's things that are not necessarily included in the appraisals. So for the Baxters, there was some additional drainage pipe, drain tiles, some work that was not included in the appraisal they wanted to make sure was captured if they had to repair that work. Mr. Heffley Mr. Collins hired an outside broker who did some additional analysis and came up with different appraisal amounts. So those kind of things happen. And again, it's preferable to go into condemnation where there's more cost and time associated with it as well.
So we're looking at parcels 8, 11, and 20.
Correct.
Is there a motion to approve those?
Move for approval.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing
Are
none.
you notify the county assessor that of the increased valuation of those properties?
I'm not sure that we do. It is recorded down at the county. And
That's
if they
good.
wanted to see the appraisal, we'd be happy to share it. with them.
They'd be interested in that.
It's a good thought.
Question complaining
Not
about.
for them, but.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Sticking with Cutsinger Road, this is another parcel we have secured. It's parcel number 14 owned by Gaffel Taylor. We're securing 0.023 acres in the amount of $10,000.
Same situation, Mark.
Yeah, except we're securing the property this time, so.
I move for approval.
second that. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
The next three items I have for you are professional service agreements, with various consultants. We go through them one at a time. The first one is with First Group Engineering. It's to prepare our pavement rating, sign inventory and asset management plan in the amount of $50,000. We do this every 2 years. They rate the roads. This year, they're going to take video and use AI or a software to rate the roads, and it'll also allow them to update our sign inventory at the same time for a nominal cost increase. This is something we have to do every 2 years to continue to get that CCFG funding, so that's why we continue to do it. It's also just good practice to shape our roads right.
Is there a motion to approve that contract?
So moved.
Second, further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So the next contract is with CAJ Consulting Incorporated. It's for Market Plaza, Phase 1, which will be from Madison Avenue to just north of the bridge here by the barber shop. It's to do construction inspection work. I do hope to have a construction contract before you at one of your April meetings to award a contract for construction. Construction would occur this summer. The amount of this contract is $152,627.66. CHA did send back a couple comments on the contract today, so I would ask that you approve it pending legal review and approval.
So moved.
Second.
And that's subject to further review. Any further discussion?
Yeah, the amount was different on the document that I have on here. Did it change a little bit, just like?
There was a little back and forth on the rates. The rates in the rate table didn't match the rates in the Exhibit D. I did ask them to update that. I think Sean Coons caught that this morning as well too, so we'll make sure that's updated in the final contract. So that dollar amount is the correct dollar.
Okay.
The 152.
Yes, sir.
No further discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
The final contract I have for you is for Smith Valley Road and Woodman Boulevard. It's the roundabout we're constructing. This is for construction inspection with USI Consultants. If you remember, we recently approved a similar contract for the new construction inspection work at Smith Valley and Averett. The difference is the one at Smith Valley and Averett had federal funding attached to it. It used the NDOT boilerplate. This one is 100% locally funded, so it utilizes our own boilerplate contract.
It's at 115,000, correct?
Yes, sir.
Move for approval.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
The final item I have for you is a sanitary sewer service special agreement. It is for Ridge Top Section 1. It's located right next to where we saw that open street cut request on Combs Road.
Approve the request.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Greg, nothing for me. Thank you. Mr. Russell.
I would move that we approve the claims that were presented.
Second that.
Further discussion on that? Yeah. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you all. We'll stand adjourned at 5:53 PM.